Starfleet Underground. Every week, we'll take a look at the latest Star Trek news and then check out a current or classic episode of Star Trek.
Whoa, check out that flying rainforest. This week, we wonder who let the plants out. Georgio gets blinky, Voyager goes to 11, and some dude is out of phase. Welcome home and get ready to debrief and get looked at really closely by an AI that has no idea about personal space.
Hey, welcome back, everyone. And if it's your first time here, welcome to Starfleet Underground. We are the podcast that the ship is always cloaked, and there's usually always a grease fire in the galley, even though we don't use grease. We're still trying to figure that one out. So thank you for joining us. We have our full crew complement here today. We haven't had a guest for 2 shows now. I think it may have something to do with our cloaking. So I'm going to look into that to see if we get a location or something we can pick people up. However, we're going to start down the line. First, we're going to have First Lieutenant Ferris.
Hey, I'm Heather. Ferris. Good to meet you, Captain. I spilled all the seeds in the bioarium, and now my allergies are going out of control. And I think I need to get some allergy medicine. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
Well, at least it wasn't coffee, and at least it wasn't the triple things. So that's a good thing.
How do we have allergies on the starship?
I have not heard acting like that in a long time. That was amazing.
Those seeds, man, they just, oh my God, and they sprouted, and my allergies, oh, it was so horrible.
You sure you're not trying to get more vacation time?
No, I'm good.
Bless you. Okay. And we have our illustrious and most awesome liaison to the VIPs, our computer person.
Hey, this is Patrick. I'm number 1. I'm the computer guy. And as you heard, I'm the liaison for VIPs. Very important persons.
Ooh, and I say this all the time because we're quite proud of him. Our winner of the O'Brien Engineering Award. I personally think it's our best engineer that we have in the entire fleet. Rocky.
You don't need to inflate the ego. The ego's fine.
And isn't he the only engineer in the fleet?
I just like to push the buttons. It's okay.
Well, at least, I'm glad your name isn't Frank, because then people would say we're doing Mystery Science Theater 3000.
I heard there was a movie sign last week, and I just want to shout out Mystery Science Theater.
Yeah, it's an awesome show. I used to watch that all the time when I was, what would you say? How can I put this in the correct way? When I've inhaled? What's the word?
Inhaled?
Inhaled. There you go. It was a quite interesting show, so that was pretty cool.
I just, waking up on the morning and the weekend and turn that sucker on, and next thing you know, it's the afternoon.
Okay. First, before we're going to get started, we're going to find out if there was any corrections.
I do not see any subspace communications come across.
Well, we've just been regularly flawless here lately.
I heard there was a glaring correction that we probably should address.
Really?
Okay, what is that?
Okay, so we're watching the short Calypso, and the one where that one where the computer's dancing with the person, and we're talking about how we think it was Book.
Yeah,
it wasn't Book.
It wasn't Book.
That was totally my fault. That was totally my fault.
That was a different person?
Totally different person.
Because what happened in my memory we haven't seen the short in so long, and it was like that guy had a good body, Book has a good body, and I just blended the 2 bodies and made them one, but it wasn't. So so they don't have to close that loop. So
they still have to close the loop because the ship was there for 1,000 years. And that was definitely Discovery.
Yeah, so there's definitely been a jump or something that happened.
The computer's definitely there, so that means something.
Yeah, the guy's name was even different.
Aldous Hodge, I think.
I thought he just wouldn't give his real name to the computer.
No, it was, the guy's name was like, what was the Craft? Yeah, it wasn't Book, it was Craft. So everybody's named after something apparently in the future.
The actor's name is Aldous Hodge.
Yeah, so that was definitely on me.
Worth seeing, though, if you haven't seen the short treks. I mean, they're all worth seeing, but we loved that one.
It was really good. It was really, really good.
That was a really good short.
And it kind of gives a hint on the computer's love for old movies.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? It could be 1,000 years from 3189.
It's science fiction. It could be 1,000 years from anything.
Well, that's true.
I mean, it doesn't have to be 1,000 years from 2285.
Yeah.
It could be 1,000 years from 3189.
That's a good point.
That's true, because the ship was 960 years into the future, so it could be only like 40 years. So we don't know. Well, thank you for that correction.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to snap it on you like that, but
no, that's okay.
we kind of noticed that.
We needed correction.
So wait a minute, we have a small error we're making here.
It's a massive error, and thankfully I made it because we don't need people protesting the ship. Okay, so
Oh, show.
Like to see him try with the cloak on.
They won't be able to find us. So
they won't be able to find us like they won't be able to find Starfleet headquarters because it's cloaked by the warp signatures of all the ships.
Okay, we're going to go to news. So you have anything for us there, Heather?
Well, thankfully I got that allergy shot at sick bay, so I'm good now. Okay, so unfortunately we had some really, really sad news this week, but it is followed by some hopeful news. So the very sad news was Alex Trebek from Jeopardy passed away, and he was an amazing person, a nice, really a legend in everyone's lives. But for us Star Trek fans, we did get some hopeful news where it is speculated that LeVar Burton, LaForge from Next Generation, might be taking Alex's spot on the show Jeopardy. Now, there was a petition from fans who were trying to get to 25,000 signatures. And as of so far, they have surpassed that, and they are now at 26,000 signatures. So we'll link the article on social media for more information.
Cool.
He would do really well in that, I think.
Oh, yeah. I've heard him do interviews where he actually talked about, what I'd really like to do one of these days is host Jeopardy. I'm like, wow, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, it would. For a whole new generation. That would be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And you got any news to follow up there, Patrick?
I sure do. So it has been proposed in Leonard Nimoy's hometown of Boston that a special tribute of a 25-foot stainless steel Live Long and Prosper hand salute be erected in his honor.
That would be awesome.
Yeah,
25 foot tall? That's amazing.
Yeah.
Time travel road trip.
Totally.
Oh, we need to.
Oh, yeah. That'd be a good date to set. Let's set that date. When they're going to break that sucker off, let's go.
Seriously. Any more news you have there for us, Patrick?
Not yet. I mean, they don't. It's just being proposed. They don't have a date or anything for it yet. They're in the coming months, though. They will have an official website, and I do believe they set it up as a nonprofit. So if people want to donate, they're hoping to raise. They need an estimated $200,000 to $250,000, but they're hoping to do it as a grassroots level, fundraising campaign. But they don't have any information on when or where you can donate as yet.
Well, keep the channels open. You come across something on your feed, let us know. Update us.
I sure will.
That would be awesome. And how about you, Rocky? You got news for us?
Well, the weather outside is frightful and the fire is so delightful, but I'm not going to sing for you.
Not.
Wait, there's another fire in the galley again? Heather was sitting there.
I wasn't cooking, I swear.
It wasn't the snowman because he's melted.
We haven't even gotten to Thanksgiving. Don't start with Christmas yet.
Oh, but you can get the jump on some stuff right now. This is
You are not Walmart. You are not Walmart or Target.
Okay.
I agree with Patrick.
Okay, but all right. So not just strictly. Well, I guess it kind of looks like everything says Christmas on here. Okay, so if you just ignore the word Christmas, there are some awesome sweaters available at numskull.com. So if you go to numskull.com, they've got some amazing looking Christmas sweaters, and there are some Star Trek ones in here. So I mean, they've got all kinds of things. I mean, some Star Wars, some Batman, some oh my God, Gremlins, Ghostbusters. Ooh. I saw in here, Harry Potter, but there's a really cool looking sweater that I think I should get. It looks like the next gen uniform. And there's another one with some beam me up guys and, some very cool looking sweaters in here.
Do they have one that looks like Wesley's shirt?
I haven't scrolled through all of them yet because there's a lot of them here to scroll through, but it wouldn't surprise me.
Cool.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm not typically the sweater kind of guy, but, it's starting to get to the colder, and global warming's hitting, so we may need a sweater. So, it's nice to get a cool looking sweater on. And these aren't necessarily ugly sweaters as far as you ask me. I think these look pretty good.
Yeah, but your taste has always been questionable, Rocky. So,
well, then I'd take this back. There's a Spyro the Dragon that looks a little busy.
I mean, you do have us for crewmates, so,
Well, I never said I had great taste. I just said I had taste.
Oh, crew slam.
No, but I will have to compliment Rocky because he's got a one-piece pajama thing that from a distance, it looks like his regular uniform. I had no idea he was wearing pajamas in engineering until I got close and go, wait, that's a one-piece.
That's a life hack.
Wait
that's a life hack.
Rocky, you have to give me where you got that from because I want to do my work in pajamas. I want to go to work in pajamas. That's awesome.
But Heather, you don't wear pajamas.
Oh yeah.
It's bad enough I gave you guys buffer time. Now I don't want the whole crew walking around in jammies all day long. Okay. I have a little bit of news. For those of you, Captain Janeway, Kate Mulgrew, the actress that plays her, is going to be getting a virtual ceremony on December 7th of the O'Neill Award. The Irish American Writers and Artists is going to honor her for a Eugene O'Neill Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, cool.
So that's going to be pretty awesome. It's going to be a virtual broadcast, so everybody will be able to go. And there's going to be tickets to the event that you can get online. So it's virtual, but not everybody can see it without paying a little bit of money, right? Attended. So all you got to do is look up Kate Mulgrew and look up Irish American Writers and Artists Award, and you can go ahead and get the tickets. Now, the tickets run you not Gold Plus Platinum. How can they still? Oh, that's right. They still deal in currency. Tickets will run you between $25 and $150, and it's going to be on Monday, December 7th. So just wanted to let you guys know about that.
Even in a pandemic and when everything's virtual, they're still trying to stick it to you cost-wise on a ticket.
Yeah, well, they figured they got to pay people like Rocky who to make sure that everything goes well.
They're run by Ferengis. What do you expect?
Well, this is true. They make things go.
They make things go.
We are Packard.
Now, we're going to go into the amazing story here. So, Lieutenant Ferris.
Yes, sir.
What do you have for us?
No
double eyes.
No double eyes. I swear.
Go ahead.
Captain. So, Star Trek Discovery, Season 3, Episode 5, Die Trying, is the episode we are going to be watching today, and it first aired Thursday, November 12th, 2020. We start with a teaser, Starfleet Headquarters. Thanks to Adira's coordinates, they find the Starfleet Federation headquarters. Once Discovery enters the security bubble, we finally see the upgrade and advances in science that we were hoping to see 1,000 years in the future. Saru, Michael, and Adira beam over to meet this new futuristic Starfleet.
The first thing I have to say is that when the ship made it and it went through the distortion field, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but the first ship on the left was the USS Nog.
Yes, you saw that.
I screamed. Yes. Oh my God. I had to immediately research it. And apparently it is a ship they did to honor him.
That's
and
so
it
cool.
is a new class of ship called the Eisenberg. Which is even more
That's
awesome.
so cool.
That is so cool. And for those of you who don't know, the actor's name is Aaron Eisenberg. So to have an Eisenberg class vessel is like a double serenade.
Well, what's funny is because I was seeing things on, Facebook about the USS Nog, but I just thought it was, people just doing it on Facebook. But I didn't see the ship in the episode. I'm gonna have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's on the left-hand side. As soon as they come in, you see it. It kind of looks like almost like it's a hyper-realistic phaser, a futuristic type of phaser. Voyager on there for the way the ship is. But it was really cool. And then another Easter egg they put in was the Voyager. It was a USS Voyager.
Yes.
And Voyager J, the 11th edition. Hello.
11th edition.
Yeah, 11, baby.
11 generations.
You know, so it was like, wow. So to see, I kind of felt in a way, the same awe and reverence that the crew did, seeing all those ships parked there. And it was just like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool.
That's a flying rainforest. Yeah.
Right.
I love
flying
it.
rainforest.
And some of the walls of the ships were holographic. I'm just, some of them were organic. It was
Detached nacelles. Where do they keep the warp core?
Right. It was amazing stuff going on. Neutronium alloy fibers. I'm going to get me some of that.
Some of the crew was totally fangirling, especially Tilly.
Totally. The joy on their faces was so infectious.
It was cool.
Yes.
And I love the shot in the hallway when they're looking out the windows in the hallway. That was my favorite shot of the show, I think. It was just the joy and excitement, like, you know, like we just went to Disneyland or something. You know, it was really cool.
Because they did what people would do. So that was real life experience. If you're on a starship, even if you're on station and somebody goes like, "We're Starfleet. We are Starfleet. They got ships. Get ships. Well, where's the viewing screen? We gotta go. We gotta go."
Well, yeah. I mean, imagine
for the hall.
you're locked up in a starship for however many years. You look out the window, all you see is space all the time. Every freaking day, you look out, it's space. It's like
Star
okay,
after star
it gets
after star.
a little old after a while. So the second you happen to go by something, is like, oh, that's cool. It's a comet. No, they're at friggin' Starfleet Central over here in the future.
I am still acting like Tendi, where every time I look out the window, even though it's been years out in space, I still look out the window and I'm like, oh my God, it's space. This is so freaking cool.
And can we talk about the design of Starfleet and the Federation headquarters? Hello.
Yeah.
That was so cool.
Did you guys realize that they combined Federation and Starfleet together? So now it's like a one entity. Did you guys note that?
Well, I thought it was all kind of one thing anyway. I mean, the Federation has a Starfleet, right?
So, okay, here we go. So basically, although they are sometimes used like interchangeably, there's a distinction between the two. Starfleet predates the Federation and is an exploratory organization that might be similar to, like, let's say NASA or the Navy, but the United Federation of Planets, that's an actual government, like the U.S. government. So that facility represents both Starfleet headquarters and the Federation together as like one unit.
Yep.
Okay.
It was pretty cool to see that, the configuration and the new name. That was a good pickup on that, Heather. Also, a little bit of tidbit information for those of you who are not traveling in space. The distance between systems and everything is quite long. They never show that on the show. So they always show when they start and when they finally get there. But it's a lot of time in between, which is a primary reason why they got the holodeck. So just to let you know, space travel and the Spore drive, space travel can be very boring.
Yeah.
But not with a Spore drive, though. Spore drive, you boom.
No, Spore drive, you can get there right there.
I applied to be on the Spore drive, but they wouldn't let me in. They said they had way too many applications.
Yeah.
A lot of people who are in the shrooms tried to join that project.
That, and they didn't want you burning anything in the
And they heard how
network.
you cooked. Yeah.
Oh, is that why? Now I know why they wouldn't let me on.
No, they wouldn't. There was another lieutenant who wanted to get on, and they heard he had a thing for psychedelics, and they were afraid that he would like eat or snort or consume the spores. So that's why he didn't get it.
And I didn't get it because they figured I would go cooking.
Yeah.
No, she can't cook the Spore network.
No, they heard about you doing that. And their wonder is like, is she going to try to season something in the galley with the spores?
Yes, she
Hey,
would.
that's a good idea.
Oh, great.
No, stay away.
Good thing we don't have it.
We still have good old dilithium,
Yeah, and anybody she wants to put mycelial mushrooms on your hamburger, just say no thank you.
right?
Okay, so let's go to the next section, because this was a really good episode again.
Okay, so Act 1, Debrief. Our heroes finally meet the officers of the Starfleet Federation, and it's nothing like what they remember. Apparently, any kind of time travel is strictly forbidden, and it is a crime for them to even be there. The crew must be debriefed if they wish to, quote, join, unquote, Starfleet. The following montage is a comedy of errors as the crew tries to explain the last 3 seasons in their own words. Georgio blinks the holograms out of existence, but she may have met her match with their creator, and Adira is sent to sickbay for a checkup, but she is never seen again due to how crazy busy it is. Everyone was poisoned, and there is no antidote. The only antidote is from a planet that is a 6-month round trip. No worries, Discovery could do that in 6 minutes. Finally, a chance to prove themselves. Their new mission is to find those seeds and return the antidote.
Okay, can we talk about the new Commander-in-Chief, Charles Vance, played by the amazing Oded Fehr?
Yeah.
Oh
Really
my
good actor.
God. I was fangirling. I mean,
Right?
I love that guy. He's great. He was in The Mummy and Deuce Bigelow.
Yep.
I mean, how can you not like that guy?
He's
And now he's running
Resident Evil?
Starfleet.
Wait,
Resident
a
Evil?
gigolo?
Yeah.
He was
A juggalo is running Starfleet.
no,
like we have a
no.
juggalo.
He was a
No, not a juggalo.
Gigolo.
Oh.
Juggalo's Insane Clown Posse. Gigolo.
Oh. Wait, what's the difference between a gigolo and a juggalo? Don't they like juggle?
Juggalo is a clown, and Gigolo juggles balls into
Boobs and balls.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
and get paid money to do it personally.
The line in the movie was, I get paid money to give women pleasure.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. So it's even better. A gigolo is the head of Starfleet. Okay,
Yeah,
that works.
this is a
I
good
like
thing.
that.
Yeah.
This is a
But
good
he was
thing,
also
ladies.
a protector in The Mummy. He was a badass
Oh,
fighter in The
man.
Mummy.
Great in The Mummy.
So, but
And more than one movie, too.
Yeah.
There was multiple Mummy movies. So.
And Resident Evil.
Resident
Hello?
Evil, yeah.
he's a really good actor.
He's an all-around. You see him pop up in other CBS shows like NCIS. You know, he plays Mossad guys a lot.
Oh, well, and speaking of I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but Dr. Addis was on Designated Survivor. He was the computer tech.
So we're gonna go on the. I'm sorry, I just got my.
He jumped ahead. I don't know
I
what's
jumped
going
ahead a
on
little
now.
bit just because we were discussing actors, in the parts.
It's like
and-
we just jumped ahead 3,000 years of the future, and everyone's got hollow ships.
Now,
Well, speaking of jumping head into the future, the Admiral's quick history lesson mentions that the Federation spent most of the 30th century fighting a war
the temporal.
among the
Yeah.
temporal. Yeah. So basically, when he was saying this, he was referring to the prequel series like Enterprise and part of the Enterprise where they were doing the temporal wars and everything.
and there's that explains something. So it looks like they're going in through and trying to close up loopholes. But I have to say that when he discussed taking the Discovery apart and reassigning the crew, everything, I felt like Michael. It's like, what do you mean take it apart? We've been together through everything, and you want to just take these people?
Yeah, that was a little lacking on sensitivity.
Yeah, and that's like,
There were some really emotional moments in this whole episode where I was like enraged and I was like happy and then I was sad and I was like, lots of feels.
for those of you that would play Advanced Dungeons and Dragons or D&D, Saru would be considered somebody who is a lawful good, whereas Michael would be considered more of a chaotic good.
Okay.
But the fact that he said that, we need to do that. And Saru was like, yeah, okay, you gave me an order, so we should do it. But it was, Michael was incensed, and I get that.
Yeah.
Well, who wasn't incensed by Eli, the EMH?
That guy was looking
my
real
God.
close. Little personal distance issue.
It's like,
right?
They may be advanced. I don't care how fucking advanced you are. Get the fuck out of my face with your
it's
nose.
like, are you smelling me? Do you want me to give you something to smell?
Exactly. It was like, he's like, I can tell when you're lying. I can sense, changes on a microscopic, DNA level. It's like, who cares? Get your fucking nose out of my armpit.
Yeah, you can sense it the hell over there. All right, buddy? Gosh.
Oh, really? You can sense when I'm lying. Can you sense when I'm pissed off? I'm going to kick your fucking photonic ass.
And I just love when Georgio gets blinky.
Yes.
That's one hell of a hack on holograms. I had no idea you could just blink at them and they'd fucking blink out,
I
literally.
didn't know what the hell
That
she was
whole
doing. Oh, sorry.
scene.
Go ahead.
No, you didn't know what she was doing?
No, it's like, what the hell?
It was disrupting their harmonic resonance.
Where did that come from?
It's like, that's a really twisted way to flirt. What the hell?
And that whole scene between her and that guy.
David Cronenberg, hello.
Well, I like that stuff.
She met her match. She really met her match. Now, did you guys notice?
You know who that is, right?
No. I mean, I've heard, but
David Cronenberg. Do you know who David Cronenberg is?
It's a familiar name.
He's really popular.
Hello, sci-fi director, writer, genius.
Genius, yeah. Really, really popular. No, he was, a lot of people were happy to see him when he was on.
He did Eraserhead.
Yeah, he's a legend. Like most
and
legends.
He did The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, like most legends behind the camera, people don't recognize him as easily, just like a really good author, unless they go on shows.
It's the glasses.
And stuff.
Well, I loved the glasses. I'm like, this is, the year 32, whatever it is, and he's got glasses on.
He has the black frame glasses. He has the 20th century glasses.
When he got on there, it reminded me of, and I don't know if he did this as a nod. I'll have to find out. He reminded me of what you call from Blade Runner, the guy who made the replicants. So he reminded, because the way he had, in a way, he's the one that designed the hologram. So it's like, I wonder if they're doing a loose salute to the replicants in Blade Runner, because
maybe
I just love his coolness. He's just like, he broke my holograms.
He was so cool.
He was very cool up against Georgio.
He did The Dead Zone, Videodrome, Scanners, The Brood, Rabid, The Fly, Friday the 13th.
Okay, so he is not a small fry.
No,
he's huge. He's
not
he is
small.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
And then I also liked the way the holograms are supposed to be emotionless, and they started freaking out. They go, please make her stop.
Yeah. And then finally they blink out.
Her little speech, and when they try to say that, that she's wicked because she's Terran, and she's like, you cannot rattle me by introducing a completely fabricated biological component to my nastiness and my inherently bad behavior. I am extremely wicked, even for a Terran.
Yes.
I love that.
That scene just stands out all around. It was so great. I just love, they try to outplay her, and she's like,
No, she won't have it.
You can't outplay her. It doesn't work.
There's so much information, too, that they put in there, I mean, just the quick quips between her and I don't know what to call him, the doctor. I don't know what else to call him. But his character, when he was talking to Georgio, he said, this is the second universe you've been in and your third timeline. So what he was talking about was she existed in the Mirror Universe version in 2257, and then the Prime Universe in 2257 to 2258. So those were the two universes and the two timelines. And then the third timeline was 3188. So that's how you get the second universe, but your third timeline.
She gets around.
But
his name is Kovich.
Okay, but do you get the one thing that I think a lot of people glanced over, and I haven't seen it on the internet, but then again, I haven't dived in deep enough to look for it, is that when he said this, first off, you have the new admiral who said that he didn't know about Discovery, he didn't know about the Spore drive, he didn't know because it was compartmentalized and it was sealed. That information nobody knew. That's why he was so reluctant to trust it. But he knew about Georgio.
Oh my God.
He knew about her timeline. He knew everything about her.
He's all over the Terrans.
So that, to me, speaks that he must be the future version of Section 31.
Yeah, has to be.
He also knows that there's no Terran has crossed over into the Prime Universe in over 500 years, and the distance between their two realities has grown so much. And if you notice, I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but a little later when Georgio kind of blinks out for a minute, where she just kind of spaces out, I think that has to do with the fact that her universe and this universe have gotten so far apart, it's affecting her somehow.
Maybe.
Interesting theory.
Yeah.
Going back to the two realities in 500 years. So the collapse of the Terran Empire is actually a reference to a Deep Space Nine episode that takes place in the Mirror Universe called Crossover. And in that episode, we learn that Kirk asked Mirror Universe Spock to make the Empire nicer in the original series Mirror Mirror. And Mirror Spock basically did just that. But because of his actions, this eventually led to the downfall of the Terran Empire. So as far as we know it, in canon, the most recent crossover from the Mirror Universe would have happened during Deep Space Nine, which is why he said that it hasn't happened in 500 years. He was referring to that incident.
But all that information, again, it just makes it really kind of, it's this guy is something more than what the Admiral is. And
his coolness in the face of, especially if you've been studying the Terrans so much, and hasn't been a crossover in 500 years, but he knows so much, and he's there's the Emperor right there in front of him, and he's not freaking out. He's cooler than a cupcake. I mean, something's up with this, and I can't wait to see what it is.
Maybe he's Vulcan.
I think that he knew, because when they came on board, he knew Georgio. He's probably like, okay, I know all this stuff about her. Let's see if what I read about her and what I found out about her is actually true.
You know what he doesn't know about? He doesn't know what about Linus thinks about Giorgio. Have you guys seen that?
Linus likes the Saurian loves her.
Yeah, he's freaking out over Giorgio. You gave him the popcorn on the last episode, and that was like a huge moment. I mean, he put it in his log that we can see on Instagram if you follow the right accounts. There's a crew log on the Instagram from the characters, and Linus is like, oh my god, in love with Giorgio.
Okay, that's creepy.
He must have squirted a bit when she asked him like about his eyes and, hey, walk with me. Let's talk.
It's I have not had a chubby since the first mating ritual.
He had big eyes for her, and eyes wasn't the only thing that was big.
To quote Culber, I'm dead emotionally now. Thank you.
But it was a really good scene, and it was so packed full of information between Giorgio.
Oh, there's so much.
There's
so much stuff in this, and then I looked on Twitter, and the set where they're in the big room in the Starfleet HQ, the big central room, is the same set that was the Section 31 ship bridge. That was also the same bridge for the Shenzhou.
Well, that's good.
So it was
That's
amazing.
cool.
They're recycling these sets, and the style fits so well you don't even realize it. I had to see, I think I retweeted it, or at least I liked it on Twitter, the shot somebody posted up there with all three shots, and you can see the ceilings were the same, just a different color.
You got to save money somehow.
You got to save the money somehow, but you got to also be creative with the saving of the money. And it still looked like a completely different, we look like we're 1,000 years of the future.
It was the all of the debriefing they did. Oh, let's also talk about Mary, the actor for Tilly. When they were discussing it, the way she just does things. It is so funny.
Yeah, Tilly became a Terran's captain dominatrix, and it wasn't in the handbook, okay?
Right. She's like, ask me if that was in the handbook. Was
it
that
in the handbook?
No.
Like, hello, that was rhetorical, you freaking moron hologram.
I also love the way Nan was putting up with the holograms too. She's just like, only a serial number. That's all you get, sucker.
No, she would get the name, the rank, serial number, assignment, and they're like, you need to answer this. I'm sorry, and then name, rank, serial number, assignment.
I'm like, all right, sucker, you can't break me.
Like, put me in the brig, hologram.
So hard. And Reno, she's like, is this some kind of Ryzen party drug?
You got a snack? I could use a snack right now,
I
guys.
could use a snack.
Oh, how about a drink? You guys get something to drink? Oh man.
God.
Did you notice she was eating chips and salsa?
It's awesome.
They eat chips and salsa in that year. I love it. 1,000 years from now, still eating chips and salsa.
I love it. What better way to get debriefed than giving a snack?
They look like they were blue organic chips. Thank you very much.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
Now, do you typically, when you get debriefed, do they give you snacks?
I'm going to ask for snacks from now on.
Well, usually when I get debriefed, it's by a gigolo, so.
Yeah, there's that.
Okay. Well, good thing we're on tight because we're going down the hole. Well, Patrick likes going down the hole. So.
Well, speaking of holes, let's talk about the hole in the member worlds in Starfleet. There used to be 350, and now there are only 38 remaining worlds.
Yeah, this is a very interesting time. That's another. Wow. It's one of those things that just made you go, "Wow!" when you watch this episode. We all were like sitting there going, "You're getting pinged by Patrick with the little wow." He texted like 5 times, "Wow!"
Wow.
And I'm like, "Dude, I haven't seen it yet. Let me watch it first." And then the second, I was almost speechless. The only thing I could say after watching it was, "Wow!"
Right?
So that was one of the things. I mean, Starfleet went from 380 to 30 something. I mean, wow.
And the Kelpians were a part of it. Nan's people were a part of it.
Yeah. There was lots of expansion, but it's a very crazy time for Starfleet and the Federation.
Definitely, and they talked about how, we don't know how they're doing because all the subspace relays are down. Mm-hmm. And it's like, wow.
Yeah, that was something you learned about, subspace. I mean, they're using subspace relays to get the messages across. I thought subspace was just subspace, but space is so big.
We learned about that when Michael met the communications director for Starfleet.
Yeah, he said that.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's still like it blows my mind.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, my thing is like, you have a Spore drive, we need communications backup. So you're going to take your ship and you're going to go to each subspace relay station and see if you can get it back online.
Exactly.
Yeah, you just became AT&T. Go fix the power. Go fix the poles, please. We got to get those working.
And that's all you hear. The next 5 episodes, you see Michael going on communications. Can you hear me now?
Exactly. Can you hear me now, show?
Can you hear me now?
Well, does that mean Michael eventually gets with the Trill Dax since Dax, dated him?
You never know. Never know.
If you don't know what we're talking about, listen to our last episode where we talked about who's dating who.
Who's zooming who? Okay.
TMZ.
All right, the next section.
Okay, so next section, Act 2, The Search. Discovery finds the siege ship inside an ion storm, and Michael, Non, and the Doctor beam aboard. Who let the plants out? No, there's no noise because plants don't speak.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
No, plants don't speak. Anyway, they search the ship and find a hologram of the family playing a board game together, and the mother is humming a lullaby. Then they come across the dead mother and children in a status pod. Ooh. A phased father is then found in the seed vault fighting the invader, Michael Burnham.
Okay, if you're going to do Who Let the Seeds Out, you have to do it Who Let the Seeds Out root.
Oh, Groot.
If we're going to be that cheesy, then we got to do root.
That is good. Okay.
You both realize.
Who let the plants out? Root.
It still doesn't work online. The timing thing with singing doesn't work online.
I am in physical pain from how bad that was.
You can take a Tylenol, sir.
Oh my God.
Go to medical. They'll give you an analgesic.
This is why the captain canceled our talent shows.
Yeah, we don't have talent shows on our
Because
show.
there's no talent.
I feel like a hippo was sitting on my chest. Oh my God, that was bad.
Hungry? Was it a hungry hippo?
No, I'm scared to say because they'll make a song out of it. So I will have to say the interplay between Saru and Michael, where I thought they were going to have a full-blown argument again, because he was like, you always do this. You say shit and you try to fly against regulations, and we need to do it right.
Well, yeah, it was cool seeing this because they're not typical captain and first officer. They're both in these positions that are not what they were initially ready for.
Right.
So to see Burnham and rub up against, in the wrong way, not the right way, but the wrong way, it's like, okay, you're a loose cannon. We need to contain you. But she's also like, oh, I did overstep. Sorry. It's a little, they're still getting used to it.
Well, it's like what the captain was saying before, where he is chaotic lawful and he is lawful good and she is chaotic good. You said it so much better than I did. But it's him, the lawful part of it, trying to gain order of the chaotic part.
And it really, and the fact that they didn't blow up and really get mad at each other shows how much their relationship is matured,
Yeah.
And
Well, and it's something you watch, because when we grew up watching Star Trek, Mr. Spock and Kirk would, maybe they'll have a little tiff here and there, but you'd never go visit somebody, or the head of Starfleet, and then Spock would jump out of line like that. That would be something you'd never, ever see. So this is like, whoa, hold on a second. And Burnham's like a loose cannon, like really loose cannon going on over here.
Wasn't it more like Spock was trying to, control Kirk? Like Kirk was the chaotic part and Spock was the lawful part.
Well, Spock was always the logical sounding board. Yep. You could always get the reason and logic right out of Spock.
Yes.
Spock, don't do that thing. Kirk, I'm totally going to do that thing.
That's true. That's true.
I will Vulcan nerve pinch you. Don't do that thing.
And he does the thing and he gets he gets nerve pinched. The only time was when Spock was getting, Pon farr. And that's the only time Spock was a little out of his line. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you don't want to stand in front of a horny Spock. So
No.
But the thing that I also had enjoyed,
that's a visual I didn't need
watching, is the fact that when they stood in front of, before they went on this mission, and Michael and Saru and the guy was like, we're going to send this ship to go look for, because these aliens that are really sick, we're going to send this ship out and do it. And it's like, we can do it. Saru trusted Michael to make a valid, really good argument for why the Discovery should be the one on that mission.
Oh yeah, and from their point of view, it's like, hello, we've got a Spore drive. 4 hours is nothing. We got it down. Like we can be there before lunch.
You can understand why Vance though was hesitant. I mean, he doesn't. These people come from nowhere, and they've got this ship, right? And there's no record of them in Starfleet history or whatever, except for the fact that Discovery was destroyed. So he's like, are you guys temporal agents? Who, are you Romulan spies? Are you part of the Emerald Chain?
What's the Admiral thinking though, that he's going to train, his crew in an hour on how to use the Spore drive?
Well, he's probably got enough historians lying around. I mean, that very observant AI guy could figure it out.
They had no record of it. Mm-hmm. They'd be sitting there and they'd go half and half, just like that one episode.
Well, the second that happens is like, where do you plug the things into your arms at? They're like, what do you do with those? I mean, they have to have stamets to do it.
They try to plug it in different areas of the body. No, don't put it in there.
Like what our one of our previous guests said, the dildo arms. Gosh, I got to give a shout out, by the way, to those guys. They mentioned the Marks mentioned some nice stuff on one of their recent shows on Disco Fever. Shout out to Disco Fever and the Picard Talk podcast. We loved having Mark on, and it was great hearing you guys talk again about us. Not that we have egos or anything.
Who has egos? What?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so the dildo orb thing was just like, what would they figure out to do with that? The crazy nosy AI guy be like, he'd probably stick him up his nose. Like, well, it smells like it. Put it. Oh, not there.
He's sticking it in a out only.
Yeah, that's the wrong port, sir.
Out only.
Yeah, how would they figure out how to work that starship that quickly?
It comes down to a little bit on ego side, because he figures this ship is old as fuck. We're high tech now. We should be able to figure it out in no time. And obviously that was a mistake on his part, because why would you take a crew that's worked so well together for so long and then put a bunch of people that have no idea? It's like somebody giving someone a 1950s car and tell them to put gas in it. They're going to walk around the car.
Or tell them how to drive a manual transmission without having worked one before.
You're going to tell somebody how to put on the brights in the car. They're not going to know. They're not going to know the gas tank is behind the license plate or the switch for the brights is on the floor.
That Admiral probably has never seen that much dilithium in his entire life.
Oh, wow. Good point.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I like, though, that Saru came up and said, hey, I'll stay behind and you guys can go. I thought that was incredibly wonderful thing that Saru could do.
Yeah, it was.
Which made Michael the captain. Yeah. This was the first time Michael has been the captain of the ship in all 3 seasons.
And she says, black alert.
And she said black alert. Yeah. And first time she said black alert. Now, I have a theory. I want your guys' opinion on it. What if for Discovery, Michael is our Discovery captain? So here we go. We've had like multiple Discovery captains every single season. And what if that's because Michael is actually our Discovery captain? It's just we started the series before she became a captain, and now we're seeing her work her way up.
Mm-hmm. Interesting premise.
Interesting theory.
Possible.
We're going to have to wait and see, but it is interesting.
See how many seasons we get through before that happens.
Well, she starts in her darkest time when she's like convicted and going to jail, and then she moves up to a science officer, and now she's like number 1. So what if the writers are trying to like show her struggle and show her journey and show her, becoming this great Star Trek captain?
It's a
interesting theory.
Yeah, it is. That's something that we can definitely have to keep an eye on for the future.
It's a theory, just like Trump won the election.
Dude.
Oh, man, my theory was smacked down.
I thought we were staying off politics.
Well, did anyone notice the mention of First Contact?
No.
The First Contact mention?
Yeah, when Georgio's being interrogated by what's his name?
The doctor.
David Cronenberg's character, when they're being interrogated, he says his birthday is April 5th. And she's like, yes. a high holy Terran holiday. And he's like, yeah, and it's also the day of first contact when the Vulcans met the Terrans and you blasted them out of the sky.
It went by so quickly. Okay.
Yeah.
And if anyone wants to watch that's Star Trek Enterprise, the episode In a Mirror Darkly, part 1 and 2. They talk about that.
Okay, so when we watched First Contact, we had the whole Borg side story, but the Vulcans eventually met up and shook hands and listened to Roy Orbison with Zephyr Cochrane.
Yes.
But in the Georgio universe, the Mirror universe, they blew him out of the sky.
Yep.
Okay, that's fascinating. I love the alternate or the parallels in history.
There's also a part, because we're getting a little bit off track, is that when the ship went through black alert and you can see the half smiles on everybody's face because they're used to the ship jumping,
like,
spore jump.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
They're like, hold on. This is going to be good. Well, this is really a good use of the spore drive because they're not using it in defense.
No.
They're not running for their lives. They're not trying to blow up a Klingon ship. They're trying to save somebody's life over here, and it's not their own. They're trying to do good. They're using their ship for a force of wonder. I mean, this is great.
Also, it saves the lithium. They don't have to use the lithium to use the spore drive.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Wait, lithium is for mental health. Dilithium is for ships.
That's what I said. The lithium.
Dilithium, yeah.
So they didn't have to use it. But when they got there, also it shows that the science ship, the experience that they have, even though Denver looks like she still has mental issues, but they were able to get in Denver. He was able to get and pull that ship to pull the ship out of the ion storm.
People, not everyone speaks Nathan, so you have to make sure you're using the right names here, Nathan.
I might get him a microphone for Christmas to see if it sounds better.
I don't know. I have to. I'm on the captain's side on this one because some of these names are hard to say, and that's why I'm like, oh, that's the doctor, because there's no way I'm saying
Kovich.
Colbert. Because I want to say like Stephen Colbert, but then it's not that. It's something else.
That's
and
a different dude.
Tongue won't. Yeah, my tongue won't do it. This is why I have nicknames for some of them, like Boim Boim. I can't say his last name.
Boimler.
Yeah, it's just hard for me.
Well, okay. Boimler was phasing in that one episode, so we get to see that in this one. This dude is phasing in, he's not a cartoon. He's actually phasing.
I wish they would have had the annoying sound with it.
That would have been cool. That
would have been so funny.
It was kind of, because they did sense him. They said they had a life sign kept popping in and out when they first got on board the seed ship.
Yeah.
So
kind of like a chubby.
Yeah. So it was like, that was pretty
But
cool.
they thought their sensors were messed up, and that's why it's not reading right. It keeps popping in and out.
Yeah, your sensors are trying to tell you something that you have to wrap your head around a little bit because you've never seen that reading before. It's like, this doesn't make any sense.
Also, the smile on Nan's face when it was her natural atmosphere, where it's like your eyes change colors.
I like that we saw her eyes. Oh my goodness!
Yeah, your eyes change colors. It's like
that was so cool.
So it was good.
It was an epic episode for her too.
Oh yes, it was great. I really enjoyed watching her talking with Will on the Ready Room after the show.
Yeah.
I really dug that, and it's another one of these things. You get the actors in this beautiful Star Trek makeup, and then you see them in full on regular human. It's like I would walk right by her on the street if I didn't know. I would have walked right by her because I didn't know.
Same here.
Yeah, I have the same thing with B'Elanna Torres. I would have walked right by her if she wasn't in her Klingon head. I mean, it was like, oh my God, amazing what they can do with these actors to make them fit a character.
In the Ready Room, Rachel Anchel was talking about how her mother was a complete and total Trekkie.
Very cool.
And that's how she got into Star Trek.
Like letter writing Trekkie from the OG.
Right.
Yeah, that was just super cool.
Total fangirl.
But then you go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No,
you go ahead.
Something.
No, you go ahead.
I'm not going to go. You guys
go ahead.
No.
You go ahead.
Just to see them there, they're trying to figure out what's going on with the sea vault, and they see that somebody obviously had let the seeds out because they were growing wild.
Who let the seeds out?
Oh my God! Why did I say that?
We're never doing karaoke on this ship ever again.
Nope.
Thank you.
Yeah, but when they beamed in and all the plants were that was beautiful.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Oh yeah, it's a really cool look for a starship.
Yeah,
and I love the little misters blowing down the mists. It's like, oh wait, I think those are in the grocery store, but they're in the starship. That's cool.
Blow Misty on me.
There you go.
Misty's blowing who? No, I liked what they were doing with the lullabies and everything, where they were trying to bring like the lullabies in and
the music, the haunting melody.
Yeah, and everyone has heard about it. And I'm thinking, well, we have lullabies right now where everyone knows about it. For example,
Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
Yeah, but I mean, like Ring Around a Rosie, that's been around since the Black Death, because that was about the Black Death, the plague. Ring around a rosy, pocket full of posies, ashes, ashes, we all fall down. It's about the Black Plague. And it's pretty like I don't know about you guys, but I think it's pretty morbid.
Very.
Same thing with Rockabye Baby, you know, in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. And then the bough breaks, the cradle will fall. And then down will come baby, cradle and all. So basically,
Don't put your baby in a tree.
you're killing the baby. And it's like this, you know, kid's song, but you're killing the freaking baby.
It's very dark. Yeah, very, very. It's so, you know, sweet and innocent sounding, but it's really dark and doom.
Yeah.
Just like this one. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, gonna stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again.
I remember that. We used to
That was
play
from my
that.
childhood.
Yeah, we would jump rope to that.
Exactly.
That was a jump rope song.
We would double dutch to it.
Yes, exactly. Double Dutch. I remember that. Oh, good memories.
I think we lost the captain.
Yeah, I'm just waiting to see if I can get to the switching station to get this train back on the right tracks again.
Are you trying to find the
swear.
mute button?
He's trying to find the segue point, and it's not quite there yet.
Definitely.
I think we're actually ready for the next act because I think we pretty much nailed Act 2.
I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, we got Non's nice eyes and her
And the
race
spooky
choice
melody.
Starfleet and the beautiful melody that's haunting everybody.
And the family in stasis.
And weakness of people is generally other people.
Okay,
The only
so
thing about the
You're not
about
wrong.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, let's go to the next scene or next act.
Okay, Act 3, Lost and Found. After the fight, Michael, the doctor, and Non report their findings to Discovery. Tilly, Stemmis, and Reno figure out that the ship was hit with a radiation burst, killing the family, but the father had been beaming into the seed room at that exact moment, and that is why he wasn't killed, but instead was just phasing. They fix it, bringing the father back to the real world. He is able to find their seeds for them, and now his job is done. Non volunteers to remain behind, take over his post, and guard the seeds.
I thought it was really, again, this is where, again, the guy who plays Dr. Addis was the one from Designated Survivor, if any of you saw that show with Kiefer Sutherland. He really did a good job. I mean, you know, he's only on for a short time, but when he names his daughters and Non's like the 2 most beautiful moons in our solar system, he's like, those are my daughters. It was like my heart just like dropped.
That was tearful.
Okay, yeah. On the first viewing, I agree with all of that. On the second viewing, I'm like, dude, your fucking password is your kids' names. Big security no.
Hey, you know, he's on the ship by himself with his family. Who's gonna break in?
Security is very important. You can't have your password be your fucking kids' names.
That's
It doesn't.
like
It's
1,
not
2,
smart.
3 password.
Yeah, you might as well put password as a fucking thing. I mean, yeah, hello.
Oh my God, I didn't think about that.
I just shout out to all the computer experts that are like, yes, thank you. I know.
Who's gonna know how to spell Topra?
I have no idea. It's like a voice password. You don't have to. Spelling doesn't count.
TOLPRA. Topra.
Oh, okay.
To see his, as an actor, you're right though, to see the pain that he was in,
Oh, yeah.
knowing that his family was dead, and to put him in stasis. I mean, okay, so they're not going to decompose. So you're forced to see them every single day, working against hope that you can figure out some way to bring them back to life.
Oh, man. You're making me cry now. I mean, yeah, that guy had the worst hand dealt to him ever. That's horrible.
And he's been there for a long time.
And his hand's phasing, so he can't do anything
And
about
now,
it.
yeah, now he's out of phase and he can't do it. He's literally a ghost. I mean, wow.
Yeah, that was really, really kind of heartbreaking. And you can see for someone who's been a cold, efficient security expert, really showed a lot of empathy and a lot of feeling for her compadre, so to speak. I mean, she couldn't tell him the family was dead.
Well, it's the only Barzan she's seen since in, you know,
I know.
1,000 years. So, I mean, it's only been like 20 minutes for her, but, you know.
Well, she said that she was going to go visit her home world before they did the whole Discovery mission, and she didn't, and she was regretting that. So it really made her character stand out more. And I liked it was focused on her character, and you got more of her backstory, although it sort of stinks that they left her there after all that.
Well, she chose to stay.
No, I think we're going to see her again
I hope so.
because she's going to take the seed ship back to her home world. And once it's there, it'd be easy to switch off with someone else. So I think we're going to see her again.
Yeah, but I think she would stay on her home world. She'd be like, I'm done. My mission's done. I'm going to stay here and have a good life.
No, not necessarily. You can never go home. So she can go home, but it won't be the same. And I think that she'll eventually come back. And then we have that thread of that song that everybody knows, like on the planet-wide, like you guys were saying earlier with the lullabies and stuff. Yeah, that can be spread all over the planet. But this is something galaxy-wide. When you have space travel taking so long and the subrace relays are down.
Oh, that's a good point.
There's something to that.
It's like there's this ominous thread to this. Something else is going on.
That's a really good point.
I wonder if it's going to be some like psychic connection between, within the universe, or is it something that was planted, like a seed planted aeons ago and everybody just knows the song?
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that, because being that this is a seed ship and you're planting seeds.
Oh, you never know. So, and just like they did that thread when it came to Doctor Who with Bad Wolf, you just keep seeing a door knock.
Bad Wolf
all the time.
I remember that.
Yeah. So who knows? And it's interesting because the writers have been very good about laying crumbs that later on, by the end of the episode, it all comes together.
You mean seeds?
Yeah.
Planting seeds.
Planting seeds.
When we say planting seeds, we can think of something dirty. So when you put crumbs,
dirty.
Crumbs are not as dirty. I mean, you can have crumbs, but it's not as much fun.
No.
When we were talking about the lullabies earlier, and we were talking about Rain Around the Rosie and how it was based off the Black Plague, what if this lullaby was based off the burn? Ooh. And that's why they've had enough time for it to go around the galaxy.
That means it's a hot track.
Possibility.
But remember Adira said that this was a song that Xanatal's parents sang to him when he was very young. So it was probably before the burn.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to find out, because they're going to definitely be picking up the thread. And so we're going to be able to tell. I don't think the song, they haven't mentioned anything. If they did, I didn't hear it about the lyrics of it.
That's true. Nobody said any lyrics.
I'd be curious on what the lyrics would be.
Right now, it's just a melody.
It's 3189 right now. So the burn was only 120 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah.
And then Tall would have been 150 because he was Trill. So yeah, that makes total sense. Dang.
It'll be really interesting. So I'm curious on what that thread is going to be.
But then what's her name? The security officer said, that when Michael asked her about the song, some things just get into the ether.
I think it's another plane of existence interacting. That's my theory.
Another a mirror universe, perhaps?
That's what I was thinking of Terran. Yeah, maybe it came from Terran.
Well, it's going to definitely be interesting on that. And once again, the crew of Discovery show how smart they are with Tilly and Stamets being able to figure out exactly what's going on. And all three of them, which was a cute scene. We kind of glossed over that.
Yeah, it was a good scene.
Where you had the observer there, and they're acting like a dysfunctional family.
Can we just irradiate your entire personality?
They're going back and forth and cursing each other out.
Dysfunction is the team. I'm just like, that's
We've just accepted it. No, we haven't.
Yeah. That's just part of what makes them work.
Yeah.
That's probably what our guests experience whenever they visit this ship.
Yeah, I would imagine so. They're like, what are you doing? Okay, well, it works, but
one never knows, do one?
No.
Okay, we can move on to, I guess, the next section.
Okay, so Act 4 is acceptance. Michael says a heartfelt, tearful goodbye to Nan before leaving her behind on the siege ship and returning to Starfleet headquarters. They report a successful mission and stand by for further orders. The Admiral changes his mind about splitting the crew apart and instead keeps Discovery together. They give the sick patients the cure as Michael asks around about the strange lullaby. As the show ends, we see Michael and Saru thankful that they finally made it, but cautious about the unknown. There is still so much to learn.
This is the scene where Michael comes up to Philippa. She's going to ask her about maybe about the song, and Philippa's kind of tranced out.
Yeah,
and Michael's like, Philippa, hello, and then she's like, why would you ever ask me that? And as she walks away, the look on her face is just like she knows that there's something desperately wrong, but of course she's not going to admit it.
That was leaving it on a weird note. That's what they did. They left it on a weird note at the end to like make you go, huh? Wait a second.
She is such a good actress.
Well, because Giorgio's never one to be out of sorts.
Yeah, and never one to be slow to react. She's super quick 100% of the time.
Do you think it has something to do with the fact that she learned that Terran has fallen? She is the only one left. Do you think it has something to do with that?
The Terran Empire had fallen a long time ago. But
I think it's what I talked about earlier, that the distance between the two universes has gotten wider over the last 1,000 years. I think that maybe she's starting to, for some reason, she's feeling the effect of that distance.
Okay. Maybe she's getting a little post-traumatic stress.
I actually think it's when this guy discovers that she's just as smart and just as clever as he thought, that he let her know and made an invite to her to join Section 31. And she's like, all the information revealed to her and that she was processing it.
Maybe.
It's like he probably told her stuff that nobody else knows and everything else and enlisted her aid. Because if you think about it, if you, like, for instance, if someone comes up to you and say, look, this is what really happened with the Kennedy assassination and with Area 51 and with the space crash in Roswell, and they give you full detail, line by line, of everything that's going on. It goes, now that we've told you this, you can't tell anyone else.
You mean that guy was right? You mean aliens did it? It was definitely aliens.
But imagine the look on your face after someone tells you all of this and they walk away. You're not going to exactly be bouncing around the room. You're going to be sitting there going like, what?
I don't know. I think it's a post-traumatic stress thing for her because everything's like been so calm recently. It hasn't been super exciting and, stuff exploding everywhere all the time. It's been real calm, and maybe she's freaking out because she's a Terran and everything's used to being, exploding all the time, right?
I just can't picture Georgio freaking out, though.
Yeah, well, that's true.
What if the doctor did experiments like a lobotomy or something while, we were gone and we didn't see that part?
I'd be worried about that. Yeah, I don't like the idea that it's something we haven't seen.
It's like, close your eyes, look up. I'm just going to tap something really quick. Tap.
I'm going to tap that.
I'm going to tap that shit.
With Georgio, it's kind of like if somebody told you and gave you definite proof. You mean, seriously, the Queen of England was a shape-shifting lizard this whole time?
Right.
Really?
Doctor Who?
Well, yeah, she just got told that your universe, maybe she's always had maybe even if she didn't have a plan to go back to her universe, it's not there to get back to now.
Well, they put definitely a seed, as you guys were saying. This is definitely a seed that's going to wind up bearing fruit later on during the season. I have no doubt.
I don't think that her universe is not there. I mean, the Terran Empire. Has fallen.
Her empire. I mean, the universe, not literally, but universe as in her life over there. Yeah.
Right.
It's really interesting to see how they're slowly setting up Georgio and Detmir. Like what's going to happen with these two characters that the setup requires multiple episodes.
And who's to say that this lullaby that seems to be a thread everywhere, that her implant is not picking it up? Because she's got an implant on the side of her head. So who knows? It was definitely a chock full of really good information and a really good show. We had a chance to see Michael in the command. We saw just how much she's matured. We saw Saru being comfortable and being the consummate diplomat, but also a stickler for following rules.
Well, one of the other stories in this was deciding to do what's best for Starfleet. I mean, that was kind of a thread throughout the whole episode. When Non deciding to stay behind on the seed ship, she's doing what's best for Starfleet, not what's best for her.
And for alignments, the last person I think I didn't mention what alignment they would be is Georgio would be a chaotic neutral. So you play D&D now, Patrick, you'll know what that alignment means. So chaotic neutral means they do whatever the fuck they want.
It means you're a wild card.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do whatever you want, be it good or evil.
Yep.
It really
Total wild card.
Really was a really good episode. I think Discovery's hitting its stride now. It broke out of the let's stick to the canon box. And I even see some people who didn't like Discovery is actually beginning to come on board now.
It is looking up.
Looking up, yes, it is. Looking up from that vantage point. They got the third point to look up from.
And one more thing, too, that I want to bring up is when they left, they took the entire thing of seeds. Like, they didn't just take one or two seeds. They took the entire freaking container of all of those seeds. So it's like, aren't you sort of...
Maybe they got a backup somewhere else in that thing.
I hope so.
It might have been more than one.
I also like when they left, they like spun out real fast. Like she barely got to the window and they disappeared. I'm like, they went out real quick.
But do you know a little bit of Earth trivia for you? Do you know we also have a sea vault?
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we have a sea vault out in Alaska, I believe, or Antarctica somewhere.
Don't talk about Kellyanne Conway like that.
Dude,
Jeez.
First, we're not supposed to be political. And two, who would want to put seeds in her vault? I mean,
God.
dang.
You guys,
She's the crypt keeper. She's the crypt keeper.
Oh my God.
dude,
No
we're supposed to stay
politics.
away from the politics.
Jeez.
Hold on. Security, could you lock down Patrick's quarters? Yeah, he's confined to quarters. Beam in his food.
You're in the brig.
Just make sure Heather didn't replicate it.
That food would be on fire.
You know what? That is going to be now from now on. That's the punishment. If anybody goes against the rules or regulations, Heather will fix you your meals for
Oh
the week.
no.
Yep. I'm going to cook you all your meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I'll just take the
replicator.
PB&J. I'll be fine.
No,
You
she
never
actually
tasted
does things
mine.
up. No.
Yeah.
She made one the other day and had a layer of salt on top of the peanut butter.
Whoa.
It's
Yep,
like,
I remember
what?
that.
hell, it's like, well, I like salty peanuts.
Salt on peanut butter is not bad.
It's like, I
You
like
put-
salty peanuts, but
You
no,
put
like
it
salty
is-
nuts.
peanut butter on celery and you put
Oh
you
my
put salt
God.
on it. You never had that?
We're going down.
Well,
my
I
God.
tried. They didn't have jelly one day, so I put peanut butter and ketchup together.
Whoa.
That was pretty good. That was one of my better ones.
Gross. That's like we had a babysitter when I was younger who made us eat peanut butter and mayonnaise sandwiches. So nasty.
My God, if we're
The
going to go
dog
down this
even
road.
barfed.
Oh, dear.
Okay, so I was a teenager, like 12, 13. I was babysitting, and they wanted popcorn, so I made them popcorn, but the bag didn't pop all of the popcorn. So dumbass me, I'm like, oh, I'll just put it back in the microwave, and it'll pop. Well, the bowl that I put in the microwave wasn't microwave safe. It was plastic, and the seeds didn't pop. Everything melted in the microwave, and the microwave was ruined, and I almost started a fire. And needless to say, I never babysat there ever again.
I would think not.
Yeah.
And so the legend of Heather is born.
Yes.
Yeah, I could tell you stories.
So we know her inability to cook comes from it's organic.
Okay, so here's my inability to do dishes. So
Well, everybody has that.
I was babysitting again, and I did the dishes, and I started the dishwasher, but they didn't have dishwasher soap. So I put the other dishwasher soap in there because I figured they were the same thing.
What's the other dishwasher soap?
Like Dawn or Palmolive or
So then I took the kids out to the backyard and we were playing. And 5 minutes before the parents are supposed to come home, we go back in and the kitchen is filled with bubbles. And I'm like, oh God, quick, get a paper towel. Let's clean this up before your parents come home. So we're all trying to clean it up and the parents came home in the middle of it. And yeah, it wasn't good either.
A bubble fest.
yeah, let's just keep Heather out of the kitchen altogether.
Just keep me out of the kitchen.
We can put force fields on those doorways, sir. I can have that done by the end of the day.
So yeah, don't use the other dishwasher soap if you run out. Lesson learned.
We'll put docking bay force fields around the around the kitchen.
I just put brig level doorways in for the kitchen. Not to keep them in, but to keep them out.
Oh my God. This podcast has definitely been interesting. You're going to have to watch out for political protests because, dude, you got to stop. You seriously.
I thought it was
I'm
bad when
sorry.
we talked about the toilet paper roll last week.
You know, sometimes the opening just presents itself, and I can't help it.
Yeah, keep yourself away
that's
from
where
that
you
opening.
are all the time. That's why people can't drop things in front of you and pick it up.
I worry about Patrick in the openings.
I know, seriously.
I worry about the openings.
he
I'm not that
sits there and looks at
desperate.
it and goes, I wonder if it'll fit.
I wonder if it's a tight beam.
You know, so okay, we went down enough holes today. We're going to go towards the end of our show here. I forgot to say, and thankfully they didn't find me, but I remembered this time before they came looking for us. This show was brought to you by Section 31.
Oh, good.
And thank you for all the podcast people out there that's been sharing our content. We also be showing the love, and we're going to have links to you on all of our different social media things. There's a lot of stuff that's still going on right now on Earth at this time. So the disease that's running the COVID, I'm actually going to see if I can get to Starfleet to see if we can actually somehow not interfere, but interfere anyway, and get a vaccine out to Earth around this time to see if we can get around the non-interference directive. But it's getting bad. So please, if you're out there, wear a mask, wash your hands, and above all, be safe. We understand being trapped indoors is not a fun thing. But if you're going to be trapped indoors, listen to us. Watch some Star Trek. There's like a buttload of movies and series and everything. Keeps you entertained for a long time, or do a rewatch on the show.
I mean, there's the internet. You can look at that for a while.
Yes. And unfortunately, just don't do what Patrick's done. He actually reached a page that said it was the last page of the internet and told him to go out and play. So there is stuff that's there.
Well, you can go out and play, just don't play with others.
No. And
Play with yourself.
And that
the
means
fun
you're
part.
playing with yourself, which I just
Yes.
realized
That's
was
fun too.
probably wasn't something I should have said out loud.
No. And above all, if you ever come across Heather, our wonderful science officer, by all that's holy, don't let her into your kitchen. So,
Yeah.
Or you'll need an exorcist.
Thanks everybody for listening. We're going to continue on Cloaked. We're actually going to stop off. The crew's going to get another week off because, hey, it's nice out there. And be careful, enjoy. Just don't have a great week, but make it so.
Starfleet Underground, beaming into a podcast feed near you. Log on to our website at starfleetunderground.com and send your comments and questions to thecollective@starfleetunderground.com. Follow us on Twitter at StarfleetUnderG and on Facebook and Instagram, we're Starfleet Underground.